we have the current stock market update for Amazon.com Incorporated, stock ticker AMZN. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comments section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So what we're looking at here is the 4-hour price chart. Each candle on this price chart represents a 4-hour trading period. And as we can see here, the stock has seen some near-term highs coming in just above the 195 mark. This has been a fairly strong movement to the top side, but we are starting to see share prices roll over a bit here. And the real question is whether or not a near-term high is as posted in place at 195.37. So in this video, we'll be looking at some important price levels, some key support and resistance zones, so that hopefully traders can identify some profitable investment strategies for this stock going forward. So as we can see here, this is a stock really that has had a tremendous amount of time maintaining a foothold above the 190 mark. This is sort of a major characteristic that has been seen for this stock over time. We can point to several examples here where this stock really has shown failures just above that 190 mark. And that's not to say that we haven't seen breaches above that area, but the stock's ability to sustain itself at those types of levels has been extremely difficult here in the past. So quickly, I just want to point out a few instances where we have seen failures right around that area. So here, if we go back to roughly the first half of May, we can see that share prices did break above into 190.170, but then we did see share prices move back lower again. And this is a price low that came in at 173.88. I'll just mark that quickly here. So, there are several examples like this where, share prices then here move into this all-time high at 201.20, sustain themselves here for a little bit, but really can't maintain that foothold above that $200 mark. And then we see another drop roughly back down into the same area. The decline wasn't quite as steep. We did see lows coming in ultimately. This would be 176.80, so fairly close here, about $3 different relative to this prior low. And then we see this major decline here with the share price gap heading lower. And then we do see this rally here that has unfolded since then. So, this is an impressive price movement here to the top side. It is a very strong bullish price move, but the real question here is how long is this stock going to be able to sustain itself at these levels? So, one thing that we can do here is we can sort of remove this prior Fibonacci study that we were looking at previously for this stock. The reason that I would say that is because this recent price movement higher here has now broken above the 78.6% Fibonacci retracement of this declining move here. So essentially what that means is, this projects a full retracement of the entire move. So, from that perspective, what we would expect to see here would be a retest of these highs at 201.20 based on that break of the 786 retracement. So we can keep that in mind. But now, all of these Fibonacci resistance levels have been broken, so we can really remove this from the price chart, and we can start to look at this new trend wave as the dominant trending move. And mainly the reason that I would do that is because we're already starting to see failures here at 195. So this is starting to turn out to be a fairly critical resistance zone here. So I do think that we can start to look at this as the emerging trend move. It's possible that we could still see share prices go higher here and retest that 201.20 resistance area. And if that were to occur, we would have to redraw these Fibonacci lines again. You don't really want to do that too many times. But the reason that I would feel comfortable doing it at the moment is because we're already starting to see this share price decline here in the lower direction. So I do think that it's a better idea to start to view these potential Fibonacci support zones to the downside. So initially, if we're going to look at potential downside price moves here, if these recent declines do continue, there's a possibility for this because we have now broken through this 20 period exponential moving average on the 4-hour time frame. And then in addition to that, if we look at the indicator reading here, we can see that this most recent uptrend in share price momentum has now started to break. So, this is a trend line that has been tested on at least 3 different occasions here. And then on the fourth test, we did see share prices start to head lower. So, anybody that's familiar with the history of this stock, anybody that's maybe been trading this stock for some time now, is probably familiar with the fact that for whatever reason, the stock has a tremendous amount of difficulty maintaining itself above that 190 area. I mean, you can just sort of draw a line here. Let's just say that this is 190. And look at the amount of share price action that's up in this region versus how much share price action is below that line. So, as you can see here, the stock spends absolutely the majority of its time trading below 190 rather than above 190. That doesn't mean that the trend can't change. I mean, of course, it can change. And the longer term view here, if we sort of pull out on the longer time frames here, I mean, we can obviously see that this is an uptrend, so we could continue moving higher. So there's no reason to say that 201 level is going to maintain as resistance forever. But what we can say here is that this is definitely a characteristic of this stock where we see a tremendous amount of difficulty for whatever reason for this stock's ability to maintain itself above that 190 mark. So, for the moment, we're just going to assume that that's going to continue to be true, and that we may start to see trend movements lower here, even though that Fibonacci projection here does suggest a retest of this 20120 level. I mean, those are really the two sort of opposing scenarios at this point. I mean, one would be that you move higher and you see a retest of 20120. The alternate viewpoint, the bearish viewpoint, would be that this is a stock that has a tremendous amount of difficulty maintaining itself in this region, and that we're probably going to see share prices moving lower. So if that latter scenario does occur, the first price zone that I would be watching to the downside would come in right here. This would be roughly 185.20 as a potential support zone here. The reason I point to this is because we have a confluence here between the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement zone. That's this red region here, as well as this moving average cluster is really starting to move right into that area. So for the moment, what we have here is this orange line, which is the 50-period exponential moving average, coming right into contact with this region. So this would be my sort of main initial support point to watch here. Currently, we're trading at, where did we close here? 187.87. And what I'm calling here as the main support zone here comes in right around 185.20. So, we could see a bit of a bounce here relatively soon. We will need to see if that support zone holds up. If we did see a break below there, I think you'd probably be looking at roughly 178.70 as the next downside target. So here's the current stock market update for Amazon.com Incorporated, stock ticker AMZN. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.